And welcome, Hoosier fans, to this edition of the IU Hoops Halftime Report as your Indiana Hoosiers currently lead the Nebraska Cornhuskers 26-25. And all things considered, I think you have to be pretty pleased. Indiana did not come out very sharp at all. I mean, Indiana had three of their worst turnovers of the season there in the first few minutes of the game. Nebraska was getting basically any shot they missed. Roby was tapping it out, and we weren't doing a very good job of attacking those defensive rebounds. But I tell you what, Indiana's defense, really solidified itself. I thought after the after the under 16-minute timeout, Indiana's defense got a little bit better, more consistent, led by Robert Johnson, who's really been terrific defensively, as has Juwan Morgan. And kind of settled in, and it gave the offense an opportunity, when they were able to get some good shots, to make some baskets, and put Indiana in this position to have the lead. Not a game from an offensive standpoint that is going to help either of these teams' metrics. Nebraska scoring 0.78 points per possession, Indiana scoring 0.84 points per possession. And look, I think part of that is, Nebraska has had some decent looks. They've missed them. They're only 3 of 15 from downtown. Indiana not getting the looks from three-point range, only 6. That's to be expected, as Nebraska is actually 6th in the country in allowing three-point attempts. And that's actually, if you look at it over time, how many three-point attempts you allow is actually more important than the percentage that you allow. Now, Nebraska happens to be very good at not allowing many three-point attempts and allowing a low percentage, which is a tough double whammy. And that is a big reason why they've been so good defensively this year. And you're seeing it right now in what Indiana's doing offensively, where they've only taken 6 threes and they've only made 1 of them. So a game after making 14 of them, Indiana's only made 1. But, when Indiana is doing well offensively, they're able to drive, get into the teeth of that defense, and then you've seen Devontae Green. He had a nice little floater. You saw Josh Newkirk have a couple possessions where he played well and found guys for buckets. So only 5 assists so far for Indiana, but when they are doing work, it's attacking the basket, not settling for threes, because they're just not getting that many threes. That said, Devontae Green, I mean, he's been much better of late, but we're still seeing some good Devontae, bad Devontae. And that was definitely a bad Devontae half, really one of the worst halves that he's played in a while. I thought his 3 turnovers, all 3 of them were just awful passes. One was a little bounce pass early to Freddie McSwain that he just kind of put too much spin on, and maybe he was a little overconfident after that pass at the end of the Iowa game. Another was just a weak little floater, after a ball screen by Juwan Morgan. And that last one in transition, when you've got a chance for the last shot, not only do you have to understand where guys are on the court and not make that pass, I think you've got to understand time and score and situation and not make that pass. So Archie visibly frustrated with Devontae, and for good reason. But, I thought Josh Newkirk provided some decent minutes, and they were needed. Devontae only with 1 assist and a couple of points, but Newkirk comes in and gets a couple of points on a nice drive, had a couple of assists, grabbed some rebounds. Now, he turned it over too. The 2 of them have 5 combined turnovers, but he was at least able to produce some while he was out there. Justin Smith, I thought, had some good minutes. He has 6 points. I thought he played some better defense, but still he's a freshman. As soon as I tweeted, Justin Smith looks really locked in, should play as many minutes as his conditioning level and foul number allows, he goes out and makes 2 or 3 straight bad plays, which just reminds you of what freshmen are like. And that's kind of where Justin Smith is. I thought Juwan Morgan did some good things that half, 6 rebounds, considering the struggles that Indiana has had rebounding. His 6 rebounds really made a big difference. And I thought defensively he was outstanding. I mean, Nebraska, they aren't getting anything easy inside. And part of that is because, you have guys like Robert Johnson that are making life tough on their guards and not allowing them to just penetrate in. But then you've got Juwan Morgan, who, when he's playing defense in the post, is doing an excellent job of challenging shots without fouling. And there was a play late where you saw the difference between this defense now and what they were playing against Indiana State and Fort Wayne. There's about 2 minutes left. It's over on the right wing. And I don't remember who had the ball for Nebraska, but he tried to drive in. And Juwan, comes out and helps, which is obviously what you're supposed to do, because with the pack line, you're trying to keep guys out of the middle of the floor. But then he was quick to recover, had a great closeout, didn't go running past the guy, but closed out under control with his hand up. And maybe it was Copeland. I don't remember who it was, but he wasn't able to get a shot up. And that's the kind of play that in the past was going up for 3 and being made against Indiana. And here, Juwan Morgan, who's a good athlete, but not the quickest of guys laterally, showed that with the athletic ability that he does have and just his timing and his smarts and his anticipation, he was able to make that difficult help and recover play. And you're seeing more of that now from Indiana. And so I think when you look for reasons for why Nebraska only has 25 points and why Indiana's ahead, it's Robert Johnson is playing pretty solid defense. Not having Zach McRoberts out there for a long stretch, that hurts Indiana defensively. But James Palmer has only taken 5 shots, has 7 points, so he's gotten some. But Robert has really made life difficult on him, and Robert's winning that battle because he has 9 points of his own. And Robert, I think, doing a nice job of not trying to force threes, which would be easy for him to do one game after going 9 for 12, and really trying to attack the basket, and that's how he's gotten his 9 points. So as you look to keys for the second half, I think Indiana has got to do a better job on the defensive glass and getting 50-50 balls. Nebraska was getting a lot of the 50-50 balls. It wasn't as bad late in the half as it was early, but from a rebounding perspective, Nebraska right now rebounding 41% of their misses. You can't do that. Indiana's playing good defense, forcing tough shots, forcing misses. They've got to get those rebounds. And Indiana's got to cut down on the turnovers. 29% is just too much. This is a team that has been much better with the turnovers, and tonight it's a lot of unforced ones. All 3 of Devontae's passes didn't need to happen. One of Newkirk's in particular didn't need to happen. So Indiana needs to be more solid, and while they're not going to get maybe as many open threes as they would like, if they are patient, there are some driving lanes, and they are able to get the ball inside to Juwan and to Justin, who have been pretty effective down low. We just need more possessions to do it. So to me, those are the big keys, and then stay out of foul trouble. And, having Juwan get no fouls in the first half is big. Now Indiana will get Zach and Freddie back, and those guys need to come in and help solidify things on the rebounding end. And Zach will also help give Robert Johnson another really solid perimeter defender out there to take some pressure off of him too. So, look, you're on the road in a tough environment. You didn't come out and play very well. You got to feel good to be up 1, but Indiana's leaving some points out there because they're giving away possessions. We can't do that. And I think if we clean that up here in the second half and keep playing the way that we are defensively and withstand the inevitable Nebraska run, because I bet you they will make 1 or 2 runs, because they are the home team here. And we've just got to withstand those, come right back, get a stop and go on a little run of our own. And I think we'll have a good chance to win this game down the stretch. And then it's all about making plays and closing it out. And look, I'll take my chances with an Archie Miller-led team because he's shown us that he can do a pretty good job of winning these close games. So thanks for joining me here on the Halftime Report. We will talk to you on the post-game show. Andy will be here. Ryan will be here. And we look forward to hopefully having another victorious episode of the Assembly Call. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk to you then.